This is Professor Sagar Birje and I welcome you all for the online class of Analog and Digital Electronics. So in today's class, we will be discussing on various implicants in K-map. So today's class is going to help you to understand the various implicants, and then later on these concepts will help you to better understand the problems that we are going to solve using Quinn-McCluskey method. So what are these implicants and how do we identify these implicants in K-map? That is what is the focus on today's class. So what are implicants? Basically, let us go with a definition. So implicant is a product or a mean term. Implicant is a product or a mean term in a sum of product form, or it is a sum or a max term in a product of sum form of a Boolean function. For example, okay, so just now I gave a definition of a term called as implicant. As it says, it is a product or a mean term in a sum of product form, or it is a sum or a max term in a product of sum form of a Boolean function. So let us consider an example. Consider an example where we have a Boolean function f of ab plus abc plus bc. So here the implicants are AB, ABC and BC. AB, ABC and BC. So the Boolean function or the expression that you find, it is in a sum of product form. So an implicant can be a product or a mean term. So the mean terms present here are AB, ABC and BC, and it is in a product form. So these three terms we can refer it as a implicant. Similarly, if you can go with a product of some form, whatever the max term or the sum terms that are represented in a given Boolean function are referred as an implicant. So just for your understanding, I have taken this sum of product form Boolean function to make you understand what do you mean by implicants. Fine. Now let us move on to the next term that is going to be discussed in your implicants in K-map. So the next term that I am going to discuss is about your prime implicant. Prime implicants. Just now we discussed and understood about implicants. Now let us understand what are prime implicants. So a group of square or rectangle made up of bunch of adjacent mean terms. Let me repeat, a group of square or rectangle made up of bunch of adjacent mean terms which is allowed by the definition of a K-map is called as a prime implicant. Let me write the definition. What do you mean by a prime implicant? A group of square or rectangle made up of bunch of adjacent mean terms are called called as prime implicants, called as prime. In short, we call it as PI. We call it as PI. Okay. So that is the all possible groups formed in a K-map. All possible groups formed in a K-map. That is all possible groups formed in a K-map. Let us take an example. Let us take an example. I will just draw a K-map. So here I'm just taking an example for your understanding of your prime implicants. I say A, B, C. So B bar, C bar, B bar, C, B, C, B, C bar, and here we have A bar and A. So I just randomly put some numbers in the cells, and the remaining cells I put it as 0. Okay. So just an example to make you understand what do you mean by the prime implicants. Now if you can see, it is a group of square or rectangle. Okay. So here made up of a bunch of adjacent mean terms. Now you have to check for the adjacent mean terms which are present in this particular K-map. So for this one we have adjacent one here, okay, and for this one we have adjacent one, and for this one we have adjacent one here. So try to group all the adjacent ones which are present in this K-map. Okay. So here you can find this one. Okay, so we have a group number 1, then you can find we have group number 2, and then you can find there is a adjacent one present here. So I term it as group number 3. So totally if you see, we have 3 groups. Group number 1, which is covering the cell number 0 and cell number 1. Group number 2, which is covering the cell number 5 and 7, and then we have group number 3, which is covering the cell number 1 and cell number 5. Okay. So these are the 3 groups, and these are the prime implicants of this particular K-map. So totally the number of prime implicants are how many? 3. Okay. So totally we have 3 prime implicants. Which are those? For these 2 grouping we have A bar and B bar. Which are those? A bar, B bar, comma. Next one is for the group number 1 it is. So group number 2 it is what? A, C, and for group number 3 it is B bar, C. So B bar, C. So these are some of the 3 prime implicants that you can find in this particular K-map. So as per the definition, a group of squares or a rectangle made up of a bunch of adjacent mean terms are called as prime implicants. In short, we call it as PI. Okay. So that is all possible groups formed in a K-map. All possible groups. You can see already, you can see that this one is getting covered here and this one is getting covered here. So it grouping these two ones doesn't make any difference in the final minimum expression, but what as per the definition says, we have to have all possible groups that can be framed in a K-map are called as the prime implicants. Okay, hope you have understood this. Further we will be solving more examples to have better clarity with respect to this implicants and prime implicants, and the next part which we are going to cover in implicants is your essential prime implicants. So hope you have understood the definition and the example and how we group the prime implicants out of it. So which are the implicants out of this? So 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the 4 implicants which are present. Okay, all the ones which can be grouped in a single grouping, we call it as a implicants, and the grouping of square are all the mean terms which are adjacent to each other are called as the prime implicants. So let us move on to the next definition of your that we are going to see is the essential prime implicants. So what are essential prime implicants? So these are those subgroups. Understand it? These are those subgroups which cover at least one mean term. These are those subgroups which cover at least one mean term that cannot be covered or which is not been covered by any other prime implicant. Okay, let me write this. The definition of essential prime implicant. These are those subgroups. These are those subgroups, in bracket I can write as groups which cover at least one mean term that can't be covered by any other prime implicant. Okay. So essential prime implicant, in short we call it as EPI, okay, are those prime implicant which always appear in the final solution. So what does it say? So the essential prime implicants, these are those subgroups which cover at least one mean term. Like this, at least one mean term that cannot be covered or which is not been covered by any other prime implicant. So you have to see the mean term which is not been covered by any other prime implicant. So such implicant is called as an essential prime implicant. Okay. So the essential prime implicant, or we call it as an EPI, are those prime implicants which always appear in the final solution. That is what the definition of your essential prime implicant suggests. So the mean term that is going to be there is not going to be covered by any other prime implicant. So it should not be covered in more than one group. Okay, it can be a part of one group, but it should not be a part of more than one groups, like 2 or 3 groups, it should not be a part of that. So we'll take an example and we'll understand what do you mean by the essential prime implicant. So let us take an example. So I will erase this part. So the example for your EPI. Okay, let us take an example. So here we can see that, let us take the previous example. Okay, fine. Now just randomly I put some ones into this. Let us take the previous example only. So here we have A bar and A, B bar, C bar, B bar, C, B, C and B, C bar. Fine. Now let me group it. First, how many implicants are there? 1, 2, 3 and 4. There are total 4 implicants. How many prime implicants are there? Prime implicant number 1, prime implicant number 2 and prime implicant number 3. So total we have how many? 4 implicants and 3 prime implicants. Now our focus is to identify the essential prime implicant. Now what does it say? The definition says that at least one mean term that cannot be covered by any other prime implicant. Now totally how many prime implicants? We have prime implicants 3. Okay, so now let me just name 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now if you see a mean term which has not been covered by any other prime implicant, okay, it should not be a part of more than one group. So such mean terms we need to identify and name those mean terms as essential prime implicants. Okay. Now see, in group number 1, for this one, if you see for this one, it is getting covered only with this one, which is adjacent to block number cell number 0. Okay, so this is not, if there was a one here I wouldn't have considered this. Okay, so there is no one present in this particular cell, or there is no one present in this particular cell also. So this is one. So cell number 0, okay, cell number 0 is my essential prime implicant. Why? It is getting covered in only one group of prime implicant, but it is not getting covered in any of my other group of prime implicants. Okay, so in this group number 1 I have 0 as my essential prime implicant. Now this one, okay, which is a part of cell number 0. Now go with this one. Is this one an essential prime implicant? Let me check out. This one is getting covered with this one, and this one is also getting covered with this one. Fine. So it is getting covered in more than one group. As this one is getting covered in more than one group, the one which is represented in cell number 1 cannot be considered as an essential prime implicant. Why? Because it is getting covered in more than one group of prime implicants. In which group? It is getting covered, see, it is getting covered in group number 3 and in group number 1. So in group number 1 and in group number 3, this one is getting covered, whereas this one is getting covered in only group number 1. It is not getting covered in either in other prime implicant group, that is group number 3 and group number 2. So this one cannot be considered as an essential prime implicant. The reason behind it, because this one is getting covered in more than one group of prime implicants. That is group number 1 and group number 3. So it is grouped with this one, and this grouping or pairing is represented as group number 3, and this one is also getting paired with group number 1, that is with 0. So as it is getting in covered in both the groups, so I cannot consider it as a essential prime implicant. Okay. Now let me go with this one. Now if you see the one which is represented in cell number 5, so this one is getting grouped with this one as it is a part of group number 2, and this one is also a part of group number 3. So the one which is the mean term which is represented in cell number 5 cannot be called as an essential prime implicant. The reason behind this is the same, because this one is getting grouped in group number 2 as well as in group number 3. So 5 and 1 cannot be a part of my essential prime implicant. Now the last remaining mean term is in cell number 7, that is 1 present here. Now if you see here, this one which is mean term which is part of cell number 7 is getting covered only in group number 2. This is not getting covered in either of the other group. If there was a 1 present here or there was a 1 present in cell number 3, then I couldn't have taken this one as an essential prime implicant. As this one is getting covered in only one group, so the 1 in cell number 7 we call it as an essential prime implicant. Okay. So hope you have understood about your prime implicant and your essential prime implicants. These two terms are very important, and you need to understand in a better way, because there are a lot of questions which have been coming out in your GATE exams also related to your prime implicants and your essential prime implicants. So hope you have understood. So once again, essential prime implicants are those implicants which always appear in the final solution, and they cannot be covered by any other prime implicant. See here, this one and this one in cell number 0 and cell number 7 is not getting covered by any other prime implicant. So totally we have 3 prime implicants, group number 1, group number 2 and group number 3. But if you see that the one which is present in cell number 0 and the one which is present in cell number 1, sorry, cell number 7 is not getting covered in any of the other group. So one which is present in cell number 7 is not getting covered in 2 or 3. Okay, but it is getting covered in only group number 2. Similarly, the one which is present in cell number 0 is getting covered only in group number 1. It is not getting covered in group number 3 nor in group number 1. So we consider these two ones, that is present in cell number 0 and cell number 7, as my essential prime implicants. Okay. So these are the important definitions that we can have in understanding the essential prime implicants. So to have a better idea and understanding about these implicants, prime implicants and essential prime implicants, let us solve some more examples for better clarity and understanding of these implicants in K-map.